Live from the news station, this is 7 News at 10.
This is 5 to 9 feet of water. It will be over your head. Do not surf. Do not go on the beach. This will kill you.
They warned.
We're asking everyone to please leave town.
They cajoled.
Gas stations are getting ready to close. Your pharmacies are getting ready to close. Everything is going to leave.
They laid out the scenario.
We are not going to go drag anybody out of their houses against their will. But the mandatory evacuation designation is significant.
And the choice. You leave, you live. You stay, you could die. And thank you for joining us tonight. While that threat of property damage is real and the danger to life is real, state emergency officials say they want to avoid that loss of life that Hurricane Matthew has already claimed in the Caribbean. Hurricane Matthew expected to scrape nearly the entire length of Florida's Atlantic coast, and that should start tonight. Airports in Fort Lauderdale and Miami have closed. Thousands of flights have been canceled ahead of the monster storm. National Guard troops are standing by. Tonight, Storm Team 7 is tracking the hurricane's path, and our team of reporters have the very latest for you on the evacuation and emergency preps. But we want to go to Hilton Head Island first, where our chief meteorologist, Christy Henderson, is keeping a close eye on the storm.
All right, Amy, that's right. We've moved in from the beach to Bluffton in advance of this storm. During the day tomorrow, rain is going to pick up. The wind is going to pick up. In fact, I was just looking at the palm trees around me. It's probably as still as they're going to be for a while, because the winds are going to be possibly up to hurricane strength along the South Carolina coastline by tomorrow night into early Saturday. In addition, most people have left the area, which is a good thing. There are 1 or 2 restaurants open, but they're mainly open to serve the emergency operators and the National Guard. And behind me, you can see the grocery store is all shuttered up. Lots of businesses boarded up tonight in advance of this major hurricane that is going to impact our coastline. A hurricane warning is in effect and a flash flood watch in effect for this area as well. Meteorologist Dan Bigford is standing by with more on the storm. And Dan, that's a long stretch of coastline with the hurricane warnings in effect.
Yeah, it runs from Florida clear on up through a good chunk of the South Carolina coastline. Very strong storm that's actually going to pretty much parallel the coast the whole way. This is where Matthew is. It's clear the Bahamas. They had wind gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour on the western tip of Grand Bahama as that worked on through. We're seeing wind gusts right now on the Florida coast approaching 50 miles per hour as this works on by. Current forecast track has this pretty much paralleling the coastline. It may make landfall, it may not. It's touch and go as we go through the day tomorrow along the Florida coast, after which it's going to follow that curve around the Georgia coast and the South Carolina coast. Good news right now is that it may weaken considerably before it gets to the South Carolina coast. The bad news is it may be, again, as you mentioned, close enough to bring some hurricane force winds to right on some of those coastal areas. As we go through the day Saturday and eventually into Sunday, this storm is expected to move away and possibly curl back to the south. Here in the upstate, a low impact, some showers. We may see some decent rain totals, but we do need the rain, and some wind gusts, 20 to 30 plus miles per hour. It's the coast and the low country that get the worst of it. The Midlands, that transition zone where some heavy rain and some rather gusty winds may still occur. We'll take a closer look at how much rain we may receive and more of the impacts of Matthew on our forecast coming up.
All right, Dan, Christy, thank you. Well, once again, Friday, no school buses are going to be running in Greenville County. It's the third day those buses have been deployed in the low country. If your child is coded as a bus rider and you cannot find them another way to school, your child will get an excused absence. School officials tell us that a massive fleet of the district's buses and drivers remain in Charleston. They're standing by to transport any last-minute evacuees. Upstate emergency responders are ready to help handle Hurricane Matthew. Dozens of rescue workers are heading toward the coast right now. We want to check in with 7 News reporter Nicole Smith. She's live in Anderson with that part of the story. Nicole?
Well, Amy, first responders in Greenville and Anderson are set to head towards the coast tomorrow. Officials say they cannot wait until Hurricane Matthew arrives before they can start deploying folks out to help our neighbors on the coast. Greenville County Sheriff's Deputy Sergeant Mike Decker.
This is going to keep me on top of the water.
Is one of several emergency personnel heading towards the coast.
We're bringing 3 or 4 inflatable rafts.
45 Greenville County firefighters will deploy to Columbia Friday morning, along with 6 Sheriff's Office deputies.
They'll be doing search and rescue, probably some evacuations, people that's right now is undecided to leave, that may not even leave at all.
They're bringing equipment to help with anything involving getting people to safety.
In case I need to pass this off to a victim or a fellow diver that runs out of air.
Anderson County is also sending 12 of its emergency personnel to answer the coast's call for help.
I've been requested to send swift water and dive personnel to assist Colleton County.
The Blood Connection is asking the upstate to pitch in as well through donations.
We also not only need a blood supply to help for our local area hospitals, we also try to give aid to hospitals in those areas that aren't able to collect blood.
Director of Donor Resources, Donna Ehrlich, says they've already sent donations to Florida hospitals, and upstate hospitals are requesting extra blood to be prepared.
Donating blood helps save lives.
The upstate already pitching in, though it's unclear how long this mission will last.
It's like everything else in this situation. It really depends on what the storm does.
I also talked tonight with Anderson County Deputy Coroner Don McCowan, who works with MedShore Ambulance Service, while he was on his way to Beaufort again tonight. He says they had 50 personnel and 12 ambulances working to take 40 patients out of the Beaufort area yesterday, and they're looking to take another 40 people to safety again tonight. Live in Anderson, Nikel Smith, 7 News.
Yeah, there is a lot of constant work going on to deal with this. Nikel, thanks. Upstate hospitals are getting ready as well for how Hurricane Matthew will impact their operations. In fact, Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System and ANMED health officials say they are on standby notice for patient evacuees from the coast.
It's overwhelming.
Low country families are really thankful tonight for a place to escape. North Greenville University opened its doors to families of the 200 students that have family in the hurricane's path. Brianna Smith reports.
Yeah, we're here in Tigerville at North Greenville University, and all of this wasn't supposed to be happening. This game was supposed to be played on Saturday at the Citadel, but of course all of these plans have been moved, and families from down there have even come up to go to college with their students.
Thank you. Tickets turned in for the game that wasn't supposed to happen, and fans that weren't supposed to be here.
We had an opportunity to visit her, so we took it.
More than 10 families of North Greenville University students fled from the Lowcountry and Hurricane Matthew to go back to college with their kids, and the university that opened their arms and empty dorm rooms.
And we're cool like that.
But through the smiles, there's real fear in dealing with an unknown situation.
If and when we'll get back, electricity is supposed to be out for several days. Mainly not having a place to live.
It's the same story for dozens of families as the Red Cross brought in additional blankets and set up cots at the Expo Center in Spartanburg, because as the Dugan family found out, there's nowhere to go.
And then before you could secure the room, it would be gone. So I mean, it was all across the state, all across the southeast is just taken.
So with important things packed,
she packed her tap shoes.
Families are now praying for those that haven't gotten out.
Everything that can be replaced.
These families are planning on staying up here through the weekend, and as well we have information for the Red Cross shelter in Spartanburg at the Spartanburg Expo as well. We'll post all of those details on WSPA.com. In Tigerville, Brianna Smith, 7 News.
Thank you. Meantime, hotel rooms in the upstate are pretty much gone because of all the evacuees. We found out people are going out of their way, though, to help people who are still trying to find somewhere to go. At the Courtyard Marriott in Spartanburg, the front desk told us that some non-evacuees have actually canceled their reservations so they could open up rooms for people who really need them. Other hotels have waived their no pet policy. Tom Dinyan from Daniel Island is saying one kennel waived fees for his family's dog. In fact, it provides a lot of comfort amid all this worry.
You get kind of scared. You know, this is our home. So, and family, so excuse me, I get a little emotional. It's been difficult. But I tell you what's helped. People are so nice. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Sites like Expedia and RoomKey can help you find rooms that may still be open. Airbnb and VRBO are also helpful options. Officials tell us every hotel is booked up in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Asheville at this point. Remember, the latest hurricane updates are always available with your cell phone or your iPad or whatever device you use for a tablet. Just download the 7 News app for free on both Apple and Androids. You can also visit us online at WSPA.com using your laptop anytime to get updates. And new developments tonight in the Townville Elementary School shooting. Prosecutors say they will file a motion to try to have the 14-year-old suspect tried as an adult in the playground shooting that left a student dead. As is 7 News policy, we still are not naming this 14-year-old suspect until a judge makes an official ruling. Last Wednesday, 6-year-old Jacob Hall and 2 others were shot. Jacob later died at the hospital. 7 News reporter Christine Scarpelli was at the school today as the students returned for the first time.
Students were welcomed back to school Thursday with words of encouragement and love. Parents and teachers say they're comfortable here moving on.
Because we're Townville strong.
Donna Pabin walked her 3rd grade son into school like most other parents. She says extra law enforcement and support staff were a welcomed sight.
I can't say enough about Townville School and how much these teachers love on these children. And I have every confidence that we're going to have a great day.
Anderson School District 4 says grief counselors train parents and administrators on how to listen to students and answer questions. Staff members also volunteered to ride buses as students arrived and go home from school. Their goal is to get back into a routine.
The new normal as we hear it, things are different for us now, but our focus is on the children and providing them what they need to be successful academically and certainly safe. So that's what our focus is on today.
Pabin says therapy dogs, superheroes, and an extra deputy or 2 were a good distraction.
We can't live in fear. So my first instinct was that I wasn't going to let him come back to school, but you can't live like that.
From what could have been a sad and scary day. In Anderson County, Christine Scarpelli, 7 News.
Anderson School District 4 says students wore red and black, the school colors showing their support. They will also look into placing a full-time school resource officer at that school. And new at 10, Anderson County Dispatch is telling us a motorcycle crash briefly shut down part of Clemson Boulevard tonight. The Highway Patrol says at least 1 person was hurt. Troopers tell us this happened about 8:25 near Interstate Boulevard when a truck there collided with the motorcycle. We're told the person on that motorcycle had to be airlifted to Greenville Memorial. No names have been released at this hour, and the cause of the crash is under investigation.
We are live in Bluffton, South Carolina tonight. We're under a hurricane warning awaiting the impacts from Hurricane Matthew. We'll talk more about what we could see here and how people have prepared coming up.